This story is not about the act alone, but the slow erosion of boundaries, and how a no can turn into silence. It's about how attraction blurs into danger, how the body can betray the mind, and how consent, once broken, doesn't heal with apologies. It's about the shame that grows in secret, the kind that doesn't scream for help, but eats you from the inside. It's about the strange pull of the familiar, even when that familiarity hurts, and how the heart can be tangled in the same hands that broke it. It's about the choice to keep living inside a wound, or to tear it open just enough to let the truth escape. The story, voiceover style. The first time I said no, and I meant it. But no didn't matter to him. It only meant try harder. His hands were heavy on me, too heavy to push away. I remember my breath catching. The air in the room tasted like fear. It happened fast, and I froze. He called it a mistake. Said he lost control. I told myself it wouldn't happen again. I wanted to believe that. But weeks later, we were alone again. Same room. Same closeness. I felt the tension before he touched me. My chest tightened. And this time, I didn't fight. I let it happen. Not because I wanted it, but because fighting felt useless. I told myself it was easier this way. That maybe if I didn't resist, it wouldn't hurt as much. But it did. In a quieter way. Afterwards, he kissed me like nothing happened. Like we were just lovers. And I hated how part of me leaned into it. How part of me needed the softness after the violence. That's the part that still makes me sick. The way my body betrayed me. It wasn't love anymore. It was something twisted. I stayed. Not because I forgave him, but because I didn't know how to leave. Some nights I still hear his voice, whispering my name like he owned it. I tell myself I was a victim. But sometimes, I wonder if I became a participant in my own undoing. And that's the part one can't forgive. This story is not about the act alone. It's about the slow erosion of boundaries. The kind that happens so quietly. You barely notice until they're gone. At first, it's clear in your mind. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. You know what you will never allow. But lines don't always disappear in one moment. Sometimes they fade. As if someone is rubbing them with their thumb. Testing the strength of your no. And at first, you push back. You fight for that line. You believe it's yours to protect. But over time, you begin to wonder if it's worth the fight. This is how no turns into silence. Not because you changed your mind, but because resistance feels exhausting. And silence feels like survival. It's dangerous when someone doesn't hear you. Not just in that moment, but in the way it teaches you that your voice can be ignored. When someone pushes past your boundaries, they're not just taking something from your body. They're teaching your mind to doubt its own right to say no. And once you start doubting that right, you stop. When trust is broken in this way, it doesn't heal with apologies. It doesn't fade with time. It leaves a kind of scar you carry everywhere. You start to question yourself. Did you make it clear enough? Were you too close? Did you send the wrong signal? But the truth is, the only signal that matters is the one you gave. And if it was no, then it was no. Shame grows in this kind of silence. It doesn't scream for help. It doesn't make a scene. It hides in the quiet corners of your life. You carry it in small ways. In the way you tense up when someone touches you unexpectedly. In the way you choose the seat near the door. In the way you keep your phone close at night. The shame doesn't come only from what happened. It comes from the way you stayed. The way you didn't leave. The way you told yourself it was easier to cope than to run. And yet, there's a strange pull to the familiar. Even when the familiar hurts. Even when the familiar is the same hand that broke you. That's the hardest part to explain to anyone. The comfort inside the hurt. The pull toward the person who caused the wound. As if the only person who could fix it was the one who made it. But it's never fixed that way. Because the wound isn't meant to be lived in. It's meant to be healed from. And healing means leaving what made it bleed. The choice is never easy. To keep living inside the wound. Or to tear it open just enough. To let the truth escape. Because telling the truth feels like betrayal. Betrayal of them. Betrayal of yourself. Betrayal of the version of you who pretended it was fine. But pretending is its own kind of death. Slow. Quiet. Unnoticed by the world. The real courage is in breaking the silence you learned to live with. The silence that kept you safe. While slowly killing you. And once you break it, you begin to remember the sound of your own voice. And you begin to believe again that it was worth listening to all along.